Hello viewers, you've joined me at a very pleasant time because I have just found the key to happiness and this is it. This brightly colored car here is the BMW M2, the second generation of the car in India to be precise. And today we tell you everything you need to know about the first step into the M family and also possibly the last M ever. I'm going to start talking about the styling with this profile of the BMW M2 because I feel this is the best angle of this car, because here you see all its sport car elements. The dimensions are compact, there's a long bonnet, it's a two-door coupe and it gets muscular wheel arches front and rear. And one specialty that this car has is that it gets 19-inch wheels at the front and 20-inch wheels at the rear. And how that translates into sporty handling we will tell you shortly. But the highlight of the rear must certainly be the 4 exhaust tips. The front end of the M2 is where most of the design changes have happened, and this makes the car easily distinguishable from a 2 Series because primarily of the frameless kidney grille, which may not be to everyone's fancy, but it works on this car in this particular color and I like it. The headlamp on the other hand is just a single LED projector followed by a DRL. This black roof is not just an attempt at giving this car a dual-tone paint job. This is an actual carbon fiber roof, part of the M kit, which brings down the weight by a whopping 6 kilos, which means this car gets more weight closer to the ground, which is ideal for a sports car. Under the hood of the BMW M2 is a 3-liter inline 6-cylinder twin-turbo engine, and that produces a very usable 460 horsepower and 550 Newton meters of peak torque. Now this car is available with an 8-speed auto or a 6-speed manual. Now the M2 may be a very exciting sports car to drive and it may look the part as well. But is the sports car comfortable on the inside? And the answer is yes, because BMW have given this car very comfortable sports seats which have the contour of feeling sporty and racy, but is also comfortable enough to be used as a daily driver. And as a bonus, these seats are electrically adjustable, including this headrest. On the center console and on the steering wheel, we have a lot of carbon fiber elements. And my friends, good news, this is the 6-speed manual. And around it, we have a lot of interesting buttons, such as the M mode, which allows one to switch through modes very easily, and the active exhaust note. So if you want your exhaust to sound very nice, you press this button. It does. If you don't want a lot of attention, then you press that button again and it's relatively quiet. Infotainment is managed by a touchscreen unit at the front, and all the information for the driver comes from an equally well laid out display just in front of the steering wheel. And when you're driving fast, maybe in sport or track mode, you won't have the time to look at this, so BMW have also supplied a head-up display. To get in and out of the second row of the M2, it's quite easy. Just pull this lever, fold that seat, and this thing moves all the way front automatically. You may be asking, why am I in the back seat of a 2-door sports car? I know, this is not for transporting people, but in case you want a reference of size, here it is. The boot of the M2 is quite usable. In the setup mode, what you get to do is fine-tune exactly what you want from the car. So as you can see here, you can set how you want the engine to behave, the chassis, steering, brake, traction control and all that. So we are familiar with that. But this, if you remember, is a 6-speed manual car. And while downshifting, most manual cars require skilled footwork. But if you're not that skilled or if you're just learning, then BMW have you covered, because this gear shift assistant blips the car while you downshift so that you don't have to do any of the fancy footwork. So earlier I said that this car is a daily driver, and as a daily driver it needs a good sound system, and BMW have done that. This car gets Harman Kardon sound system, and here's what that sounds like. Quite good. But this is not the sound you want to listen to. When you have a stretch of open road, all of us will naturally switch off the music system, roll down the windows and start driving. To drive, the BMW M2 is exactly what you would expect from a sports car. It is easy to maneuver, fast to drive, and the engine revs all the way up to more than 6,000 RPM. Right now, with this stretch of quiet road, I am very tempted to switch this car into track mode and just let it rip. But in track mode, it has almost no driving aids. And in our conditions, it's always best to have a little bit of a safety net. So the second best option is to have Sport Plus switched on for everything. That includes engine, chassis, steering, brake, and I also have the gear shift assistant on, and that has made my life a lot easier. So when I was driving this car fast, it felt extremely stable, planted, and the only thing that limited it was my skill, because the M2 is capable of a lot more. In our market, it is extremely rare to find a sports car that is offered with a manual transmission. And I'm going to make full use of that, because this 6-speed box is amazing. The shifts are precise, and the feedback just wants to make you keep driving and driving and driving until you run out of fuel or road. And it just adds to the experience. And if you ask me, every sports car should be manual. The M2's behavior changes through each mode, and the suspension's behavior changes as well, because this car is equipped with electromagnetically adjustable suspension. For a fast car, big brakes are needed, and the M2 has been equipped with massive disc brakes both at the front and the rear, and they do an extremely amazing job of stopping this car in a hurry. Not just that, it is very good on feel and feedback as well. Even if this M2 is the last ICE M car ever to be made, it is still a very fitting tribute, because it is the right size for a sports car. It's fun to drive, it's fiery, it's compact, easy to use, and on top of all that, it is available in a manual as well. At the time of filming, we do not have the price for this car, but we expect it to be slightly above the 2 Series and just below the M3 and M4. So is that a good price? You let us know in the comment section. And if you liked the video, liked what we told you about the car, please do like, share and subscribe. This is Joshua Verghese signing off for Car India.